Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Valeria and this is the Off-Road Ranch. I hope that with each video I convince you more and more to do what you love, no matter how difficult it is and how many time and efforts it would take. In modern times, there are so many shackles and barriers that it has become extremely difficult to realize ourselves, see the truth, and make us more free. Therefore, the real value is the one who over and over again for decades remain motivated despite fallings and lack of results. That's the only thing that makes sense in our world that has become one big prison. We have already talked about the strategy, and I took into account the various factors that affect the success of the project. It became clear that this path would be long and difficult. There are many things that I have no control over and that are of critical importance that must be taken into account when working. All stages of implementation depend on each other. One affects the other. Delays in one can result in inability to proceed or in waste of money and time. Therefore, this video is very important for me for planning and implementation, because here I want to list the factors and difficulties that may arise during implementation each stage. This will help moving towards goals more quickly and smoothly and with less stress. But before I start, I would like to say that at the end of this video I have one question for you and I need your help. Please stay till the end. So, what difficulties can I face during the implementation as a whole? This is a language barrier. Despite the fact that Georgia is a developing country focused on tourists and the quality of its service is growing every year, not all people, especially in small towns and villages, understand me, and Google Translator doesn't always convey exactly the meaning we want to convey. By the way, I don't mean at all that other people should learn the language I speak. I say that it makes difficulties for me. This problem can be partially solved with the help of friends who speak local language. Nevertheless, it creates another problem, that is, prejudice against a foreigner. As a guest in this country, I don't know many customs and behavior and stand out when communicating. Not all people are honest on their own, and when they see a person who doesn't speak the local language and doesn't have the feeling of the nation which is formed over the years, it can all the more lead to unwillingness to communicate, attempts to cheat, attempts to deceive and make money on a foreigner, raising price for goods and services. Also, I'm a woman, and Georgia is currently a country where gender inequality still exists. Some people do not take words, plans and intentions seriously. They may not even realize it, but in their heads there is no such model that a woman can be engaged in jobs and construction. I have already encountered such attitude, and I understand that it will be difficult for me to find people that understand me, that will not laugh at me, will not condemn me, and will not discuss it with their friends in the evening as a funny story. However, such a situation may be encountered in many countries of the world, and it doesn't mean that we shouldn't do what we love. Moreover, that is a historical fact rather than a negative attitude towards it. And what is more, many women indulge in this way of living instead of living the life that they want. These are only those difficulties that concern me personally based on the place where I am. But there are still a number of difficulties that relate to repair and modernization of the Jeep and construction. These issues can be encountered in almost any country of the world, although in some countries the quality of service is higher. For example, price changes within a short time, and because of this, it is impossible to calculate the exact costs at least 6 months in advance. Increased prices relative to world market prices. It can be due to a shortage in the local markets, increased demand, or additional taxes. However, it is rather sad to realize that in some countries prices can be 20, 30, 50% lower or even several times lower, especially if representative offices or manufacturing plants are located there. These are delays in logistics. Due to changing international economic situation and due to migration, the structure of logistics has also changed as well over the past few years. Not all sectors of the economy were ready for this. Because of this, the load on the logistic companies has increased greatly, and delivery time has increased as well. Damage during delivery. Again, due to the load on logistics, not all companies conscientiously and carefully treat other people's property. They can hit, throw, or store it in appropriate conditions despite warning labels or customers' request. Of course, this can happen regardless of the load on logistics, because not all companies and not all employees treat responsibly and with a high quality those who bring them money. Due to queues at customs clearance times also increase, and sometimes you have to wait a long time. For example, sometimes you have to wait for customs clearance for 3 months after goods officially arrive in the country. It is also the costs of customs clearance. Some goods cannot be found in the country due to certain laws or limitations. Therefore, when they are imported into the country, for some goods you need to pay huge customs clearance taxes and prove somehow then they are imported for yourself and not for commercial use or further resale. I still don't understand what it is connected with, because often these are ordinary goods that a person needs in his everyday life or according to the specifics of work. Defects. It applies in general to any goods and services, since there is a certain allowable percentage of defective goods. By standards, these goods shall be removed from goods for further sale to customers. But since this is a loss of money, not all companies treat it responsibly and honestly. So, unfortunately, I must take into account that when I receive what I ordered, it may have to be changed. And because of this, deadlines for completing some tasks will be delayed. Of course, these factors and risks do not refer to a specific country, but in general. That is what we shall take into account when planning major repairs and modernizations, because, as usual, people would like to finish it as soon as possible and not spend decades on it. What difficulties can I encounter when purchasing equipment? Lack of equipment and tools as such. Unfortunately, not in all countries you can buy everything you need, especially when it comes to high-quality tools and equipment. Or you need to wait a long time. Or companies work only with large quantities or legal entities. No service center. Equipment and tools can be supplied not by official distributors, but by small companies in small sizes, or as an individual order. No warranty due to an official sale. Equipment and tools can be supplied to the grey market, which means that there will be those conditions that are convenient for sellers for their own profit. Delivery of wrong items. It happens if the company doesn't have processes for logistics and accounting of goods, and when the company doesn't know the lost profit because of this. Repudiation and a refund within a few weeks. This problem is also related to the lack of business processes. In this case, goods are listed in stock or presented in an online store, but after ordering, for example, a week later, it turned out that there are no goods available. And you need to wait for a refund and look for a store where goods will definitely be in stock. There are also difficulties in construction, lack of equipment and machinery. This problem is again related to the availability of goods, its warranty, and the availability of service in the country. As for Georgia, many tools and equipment are supplied from Russia in large quantities, but often they are low quality. Moreover, I don't want to be a sponsor of aggressor country. Lack of material. Different countries have different deposits or supplies of building material. So you need to take into account this factor when planning construction, understanding characteristics and functions of the material. Site condition. Climate, topography, soil condition, unforeseen factors. The more you take into account at the site selection stage, and the more you learn during preliminary works, the less unpleasant news you will find out during the construction process. There are also difficulties that apply to me and to every person who is engaged in complex projects. These are lack of time. There is never enough time. The more we want to realize in our lives, the more we lack the time to do it. Lack of money. An obvious factor that doesn't allow the dreams of millions of people to come true, thereby depriving us of a huge number of new projects, interesting startups, and the development of people who move the world for better, making our planet a better place to live. Lack of support and motivation. When something is difficult for us, and when we feel lonely, we think that no one needs what we are doing, and the world is trying to suppress and crush us. But we always have like-minded people, even if we never know about them. Perhaps someone already wanted to realize our dreams, but he didn't have enough time, money, strength, or friends. Let's become people who unite other people around us to improve our world. Fatigue, slash, burn, lack of time for rest, love, and meeting with friends. Everything has its price, and all our lives, all of us sacrifice something, no matter what we do. Increased risk of injury. Some muscles and joints can be injured because of increased physical exertion. This can be minimized by knowing when to stop or change activities in order for other groups of muscles to work. It is also extremely important to eat well and recover, so as not to get injured in the future. I already told about it in my previous videos. And also, I would like to talk why professional tools and equipment are important. To accomplish my works, I need a large number of tools and equipment, especially given the fact that currently I have nothing at all. So, I would like to tell you why professional tools and equipment are important. It might seem that you can save on some things, but in fact, a low-quality tool has a number of negative consequences, both during operation and even before starting to work with the tool. I will list the main ones. This is untimely failure and unpredictability, and as a result, delays in processes, since the tool will fail when it is needed. It always works like that. Consequently, it is an overpayment when buying a new tool. And if it is a low-quality tool again, then most likely you will have to buy a third time. Also, manufacturers of cheap goods try to avoid warranty obligations referring to allegedly improper operation, or they don't open service centers in other cities at all. It is also possible that there is an incomplete set upon purchase, or increased cost for consumables and spare parts, or their absence at all, since the manufacturer doesn't always think through the things and doesn't take into account customer needs. It is also inconvenient operation and fast fatigue due to the lack of ergonomics, which means an increased risk of injury and the risk to damage other equipment. On the other hand, you can rent some equipment, but this will increase budget greatly. And if I rent some tools for several months, I will spend so much money that I would rather buy what I need. And also, there is not always a rental service for what I need. In addition, I am not able to know the quality of tools and how they were previously used. And if they fail when I use it, I will be responsible for them. It is better to buy once and not overpay. As we know, nothing is free, and I will have to spend a lot of money for the implementation of the project and to learn how to use all this equipment. And I have no doubt that I will do it. I will learn automotive works from auto mechanics in the garage, and I will train on my own on my car. And other jobs, including construction and farming, I will learn on my own or will attend special courses if necessary. Please, remember that I have one question for you in the end of this video. If I am new to some work, it doesn't mean that something cheap will be suitable during my studies. Studying will go much easier and faster if I have handy tool that's designed for long-term work. Especially given the fact that I buy it with my own money, I will be careful with it, and I will think 10 times before giving it to someone other than me. If you are interested, I will tell you in more details which tools and why I will buy. So, please, write it in the comments. But of course, I shall mention that my budget is extremely limited. I received question whether it was possible to send me some kinds of tools. But unfortunately, financial support is better, because sometimes at customs I will pay more for the tool sent than if I bought it here. So, which tools do I need for the first time? To repair a car, I need tool kits, torque wrenches, bits, Torxes, extractors for broken bolts, soldering irons, pliers, hammers and other various tools. I need following electric tools: a drill, a grinder, screwdrivers, a pneumatic wrench, an endoscope, and so on. I also need high precision measuring tools such as micrometer, calipers, pressure gauge, laser level. To perform body works, I need to learn how to work with metal. To learn to work with a miter saw, a sheet bender, a grinder, to learn to work on a drilling machine and a CNC machine for metal laser cutting. I will have to do welding work both in the garage and during construction, so I need several types of machines for metal welding and metal cutting. Since the metal will be in a different state, I will need to prepare it. So, I will need a sandblaster to clean the metal from dirt and oils, rust and old paints, putty and other physical contaminants. For subsequent works, different painting equipment is needed. In addition, I need compressors, a receiver, a built-in vacuum cleaner, a construction dryer, and other various tools. And of course, comfortable shoes and clothes, including warm overalls, since works will take place at any time of the year. I would like to attach my wish list here for you to study it. Perhaps it will be useful for you, or perhaps you would like to help me get closer to my dream and become the part of an interesting project. But choosing a right platform is not so easy, so when shooting this video, only cryptocurrency is available to me. But I will figure it out, and maybe by the time you watch this video, the link is already attached. For the viewer, my videos look like a show, but for me, it's a real life, with all the difficulties and uncertainty. Every day I try not only to survive, but also to get closer to my dream, and also to shoot interesting and educational videos for you. I need to pay for everything I do, and your likes, comments, subscriptions, and any active support help me to start a new day working on the project. So I would like to ask you what video you would like to see next. I have 3 options. To tell you about industrial and physical security during all these various works, to tell you about information security so that you don't lose important data, money, social media, and do not become a victim of blackmail and intimidation, or to tell you about my finances, incomes and future expenses. I am looking forward to see your comments below. It was Valeria, the Off-Road Ranch. Wish you all the best and see you soon.